My name is Nadya Penoff. I am the child of Bulgarian immigrants, and I'm an artist, which is something I've been doing since I was a child, despite a lot of discouragement about never being able to make money.
And how did that work out? Did it matter, or did you make money?
Well, the good part is that living in Santa Barbara, it's very easy to have a good life without much money. And yes, I have made money because most of my life, most of my career has been based on making stained glass windows for churches and public buildings throughout the United States. But my first love is painting outdoors because I've been working in the studio on glass for over 35 years, actually 37. That's a long time. And so whenever I don't have glasswork, I go outdoors and paint.
Did your career evolve? Like, did you try to do something to begin with, but you didn't make money with that, so you tried something else?
Exactly. In fact, my first love was pottery, which I learned from Michael Arntz at UCSB when I was a student. But when I was divorced and had a 7-year-old, I found I couldn't make pottery fast enough to make a living. And I started doing designing for some people that were doing stained glass. And then I realized if I made the stained glass as well as design it, I'd make even more money. So I gradually started making glass on my own. And I did the movie star circuit. I made windows for Jane Fonda, Joe Cocker, Kenny Loggins, Pat Benatar, people like that. And then what happened? Oh, this wonderful group of people asked me if I would consider making some windows for their church. And that was the Greek Orthodox Church here in Santa Barbara. And that was my first 40 window project, which took me 2.5 years. And I really put my heart and soul into that project. And since then I've done 22 other churches throughout the nation.
So do you have a message to other wannabe artists of how to get ahead in life?
Well, what happened was when I started doing the stained glass, I still had a part-time job and I had a young son, and I was feeling so divided. And so I thought, you know, you need to put your whole effort into this and not do this part-time work, which is making you peanuts anyway. And so I just thought, okay, I'm going to do it. It's going to be sink or swim. And I didn't sink, and I swam. And my life has been wonderful ever since I made that decision.
It sounds like one of the things was you let things evolve to see what worked and didn't work, and you didn't necessarily know ahead of time what would work. Is that right?
That's right. In fact, I never knew what would work, but even in my spare time, I managed to build a house with my own 2 hands, and I didn't know how to do that, but I knew when I was finished. And the same with everything else. It's like my motto has always been, there's always a way. And I've been extremely blessed with opportunities and have taken advantage of those opportunities.
Can you tell me your life story in under a minute?
Oh gosh, I don't think so. I'm a world traveler. Every time I have any extra money, instead of putting it in the bank, I travel. I meet so many interesting people. I have friends all over the world. My favorite trip was horseback riding in Mongolia, and my other favorite time was raising my son, who is just the most delightful person, who is now 43.
What lessons have you learned in life?
Well, I've learned some really hard ones, but the biggest lesson I've learned is that there's always someone there for you when you need them. And for example, my other part of my life I didn't tell you is that I had a brain tumor 6 years ago, and that was really hard. But I really found out who my friends were, and there's always someone there when you need them. And you just have to have faith that life is there for you. You know, it's just a gift, such a gift.
What influences your art? What things or what people?
Well, my father-in-law was an artist, and he was the one person who always consistently encouraged me. And that was another great gift, because he was very well known, and he didn't influence my art, but he influenced my attitude that what I was doing was worthwhile. And I really miss him. And
what was his name?
Augie Peterson. And he's a Danish artist, but he's very well known in the United States and has had exhibits in major museums. And he was a wonderful man to me. And
how did your parents influence you?
Well,
if at all.
My parents really taught me to love nature. And we used to go backpacking when I was a kid in the Sierras, which is a wonderful memory. I was always really turned into nature, and that's just tuned in. And that's why I live in the mountains now, and it's why I love to be outdoors painting anytime I can.
What's so good about nature?
It's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. It's just unexplainable. I mean, look at this palm tree. Who could create this? How did that happen, this palm tree? You know, how did all those little cells and molecules turn into a tree? And we think we're so great because we can make a painting? Like, big deal. You know, it's just a painting. But I just appreciate all the things that I see.
I kind of asked you this, but what lessons have you learned in life?
I've learned that there's always someone there for you when you need it. It might not be who you think is going to be there, but someone always shows up. I've learned that our children have their own path, and all you can do is help them find it, even though it may not be the path you think they should have had, or I think they should have had. The other lesson I've learned is that a grandchild is the greatest gift I've ever received. And what lessons have I learned? I've learned to just ignore. I've really learned to not listen to what other people think about me or my art.
And why is it good to not listen to that?
Well, usually they don't know what they're talking about anyway. They don't know what's in my mind. They can know if they like it or they don't like it, but whether they like it or don't like it doesn't affect my creative process, because it's me that's being expressed. I don't know. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you. Could you show me one of your pieces now inside?
Yes, I'd love to.
So where's one of your pieces?
This is one of my pieces, which is called Spring Equinox.
Tell me about it.
It is a mountain that's very close to where I live.
And where's that?
I live in Painted Cave on top of San Marcos Pass. So my best view is looking down towards the ocean, and I painted that on location a year ago.
Very nice. And is there another one?
There's another one over here.
That one there?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
That is a painting of the slough at Goleta Beach in the springtime when it's full of water. And it's looking westward. And it's kind of a windy day, as you can see by the water. And it's another one I painted outside, because being on the beach and painting outside, what could be better?